Pacquiao, obviously, that saying you can't teach an old dog new tricks. You're going to go with what you go with. Well, it always worked. I mean, for the most part. His speed, his quickness, his ability to close the gap, to get in, get out, get in, get out. The difference was when he was coming in, he didn't look noticeably slower. He didn't. I'd be making it up if I said, oh, yeah, he was slow and that's why, my pick didn't come true. No, he didn't look noticeable. No, he didn't. He was coming in against his southpaw, who obviously this is how he makes a living, Ugas. So the style was a problem. It was suited for a guy like Pacquiao to that extent that he's going to be giving him something to counter. But the big thing in this fight was Manny had his moments where he outscored him, where he landed combinations, he got out. But the biggest thing that I think was the difference, and a lot of people's eyebrows are going to go up when I say this, but again, I say what I believe to be the truth from my almost 50 years of experience. I don't say anything else. I don't worry about what someone's going to think, what someone's going to... I don't, because I can't let that get in the way of putting forward what I think I need to put forward to do my job. How many times have you watched a football game where you'll say at the end of the game, I know my son, he's the director of scouting, the assistant director of scouting for the Las Vegas Raiders, and he's real good at what he does. I know a lot of times he'll tell me, Dad, the coach made a difference on the other side. He outcoached that team. And sometimes that coach would be Ken's favorite coach, Bill Belichick. How many times Bill Belichick really, it was a close game, and at the end, you even hear the commentators, if they're honest about it, and if they're real commentators, they'll say, Belichick outcoached this guy. He outcoached him, or whatever coach it is. Belichick's not the only smart coach out there, obviously. John Gruden. I remember my son told me in a couple games last year, he said, Dad, Gruden outcoached the guy. So I think that Ugas' guy outcoached Pacquiao's guy. And I know a lot of people go, go ahead, do it. Do whatever you got to do. If you got to get a paper bag and put it over your mouth and your nose and breathe in and out, go a couple times, that's going to help you calm down. Go ahead, do that too. I'll wait until you're finished. Go ahead. All right, good? You got that? Listen, it comes down to the fighters in the ring. I get it. I give all the credit in the world to Ugas. I said that. And his style was perfect to have a chance in this fight. And he executed. He executed brilliantly. He went to the body, slowed him down. He threw lead right hands and he caught him. He used the jab to disrupt the rhythm of Pacquiao and to control him on the outside, not let him do what he wanted and not let him go in and out, disrupted him. Beautiful. He was prepared. His coach had him prepared perfectly. Everything I said, there's a point why I'm going over this. Everything I said, it's not to show off. It's to make a point. Everything I said, and all you have to do is watch the fight plan, that I said that Ugas needed to do, he did. Not because I was right, because his coach understood that that's what he needed to do to have the best chance to win. His coach, they were brilliantly prepared. Everything that had to be done, they were ready to do it, and they did it. They went to the body. They used the jab. They threw the right hand. Everything. The blueprint was there. If you know anything about this sport, you knew in the Mayweather fight that he got hit with right hands. You knew that a guy who uses his legs, you should go downstairs, put water in the basement, take the air out of the tires a little bit. You know that when a guy's aggressive coming at you, that it's in your wheelhouse. You know that when a guy has got that kind of kinetic energy. You should use your jab just to slow it down and not think only of power punches. You have to know that if you're in this business at the level you're supposed to be to help a fighter. And his trainer knew that. Pacquiao didn't know what he needed to know. He even admitted it in the interview, said, I wasn't prepared for some of these things. Did he surprise you, the commentator said. He said, yeah, there were certain things I wasn't ready for, certain things that, that basically, I forget exactly his wording of it, but basically caught him unprepared. You shouldn't be caught unprepared at this level. It shouldn't happen. He should have, Teddy, what should he have done? All right, I answer you. He should have used feints instead of just walking in, to the propeller of the plane, as I used to say when I was breaking fights down on, at ringside. He should have feinted first and drew the counter, then came in safely. He should have feinted and went in the side door instead of the front door. Go in the side door instead of coming in straight. Now listen, at 42, maybe his legs didn't allow so much of that. All right. See that? I'm taking that into account. So use the feint just to get the counter out of the way. So when you come in, you don't walk into something. So he wasn't prepared the way Ugas was prepared. Ugas was prepared for what Pacquiao had. Pacquiao wasn't prepared for what Ugas had, and he should have been. He should have been. I know it was the last minute, but he had the same amount of time to get ready, and his team, as Ugas did to get ready with the adjustment to him. The same. And they did it. He didn't do it. Him and his coach didn't do it. It didn't get done. Because it's not me. I just point these things out that a lot of people don't, because they don't know, they don't want it, they're afraid to, they don't want to make an enemy, they don't want to get nobody upset. I'm just doing what has to be done so the fans can hopefully appreciate what they need to, they get the information they need to appreciate what happened and why it happened to the best degree as possible. That's my job. And the other thing that he didn't do, you got to make adjustments even during a fight. The one major one that Pacquiao never made that really killed him, that really hurt him, and the commentators never mention this, but I saw it right away. He didn't judge distance well, Ken. He kept stopping, whether it was at the beginning when he was going to get started, he stood in front at the wrong distance and he got caught with lead right hands. Or when he got finished his action, he stepped out straight out in front of Ugas, but too close. He should have went out 6 inches more. If he went out 6 inches more, he would have missed those right hands. He would have. But when he initiated the action, he waited in front and he got caught waiting in front because he was too close. He misjudged the range, the distance of where Ugas' punches could reach. And he wasn't prepared for it. Okay, 1 round, 2 rounds. I'm going to go nuts. 3 rounds. It happened. But it can't happen for 12 rounds. You have to make that adjustment. Bill Belichick at halftime, back to that point. They go in, they're losing. How many times have you seen it, Ken? How many times have you seen it? Your team up there, they go in at halftime losing. Adjustment gets made. They're a different team the second half. All of a sudden, the things that were working the first half ain't working no more. They ain't working no more. Why? The coach made an adjustment.
Against Atlanta in the Super Bowl, 28-3. They were down.
There it is, Ken. And there was no adjustment. I know there's not a halftime, but there's a minute every round there's a halftime. That's the halftime in boxing. Every round, that minute in between rounds when you go to your corner, that's the halftime. And nobody told him hey, you got to get a little further out. You're stopping too close. You got to start from a little farther out. When you get done your exchanges and you come out farther. You're not coming out far enough. You're getting caught because your distance is wrong. So for me, the main thing was that. it was also that he didn't give angles. Maybe his legs didn't allow him to go in and out as much or to go to the side. Maybe the 42-year-old legs didn't allow him as much. The upper body looked fine. His punches, his output of punches, his combinations, he looked sharp. He looked fast. He looked good. He did. And I'm going to say I'm taking nothing away from Ugas. You asked me a good question at the top. You said, was it because he's not Manny Pacquiao anymore because he's 42? Listen, you don't need Teddy Atlas to tell you that at 42, he's not the Pacquiao he was at, 32 or at, 22, God, if you want to go that far back, whatever, or 28 or 30, whatever. But he was still terrific. Pacquiao I thought he was terrific. He showed the heart that Pacquiao always shows, even though he got caught these punches by a bigger guy and a really good, accurate counterpuncher. That's what Ugas is. Like I said, he don't waste nothing. He's an accurate sharpshooter. He's a sniper. And he knew what he had to do. And he knew what his opportunities and chances. They were prepared for that. And he executed. There were plenty of rounds, especially early, that I thought it was a close fight.